It is Game 2 of the 4-game set between the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays won Game 1 behind stellar pitching by Alek Manoah, and the Yankees are getting behind Nestor Cortes Jr., who is making his 2022 season debut tonight. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. Before we get started tonight, shout out to the great comedian, Gilbert Gottfried, one of the funniest men to ever live. He passed on today, voice of the Aflac Duck. So I'm watching a podcast right up until 7:07 p.m. Shout out to Donald Hoffman. I flip on the game, and for the first 5 minutes of the broadcast, they had both the English and Spanish audio feeds at the same time. I know we're bringing in all the announcers, and we got 100 different commentators now, but can we get a couple of more producers to keep an eye on this thing? I thought I was having a stroke for a second. Interesting that tonight Aaron Judge was in center field and Aaron Hicks was in left field. And we've got a few voicemails on Hicks and Judge tonight, so I'll get to those in a minute. Yes, we have voicemail now. As long as you get your calls in by the 7th or 8th inning, they have a shot to be on the show. I'll pick a couple each night, and I have a few tonight. Some of them got outdated and outdone by Aaron Hicks, literally silencing the critics as I debate whether or not I want to play these anti-Hicks voicemails we got. Nestor Cortes pitched into and out of trouble in the first inning. He struck out Vladdy Jr. on a Laredo fastball. That's a sidearm fastball. It was below the zone. Probably got the benefit of the call. Definitely got the benefit of the call, but we will absolutely take that.
More of that, please.
So, I mean, he was crafty. This wasn't dominant Nestor, but he was crafty. He went 4 1/3, just kept the Blue Jays at bay. Judge almost took Kikuchi deep in the first inning. He came just short. It wouldn't have been a home run, but the outfielder, I think it was Gurriel, made a really nice play, but just short for Aaron Judge.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Next hitter was Rizzo. He hit one right off the right field wall. Donaldson tried to score from first, kind of hesitated at third base a little bit, and ended up getting thrown out by Plunny. He got thrown out by so much that for a minute, my brain forgot who was on the team, and I thought it was Clint Frazier. I thought it was... he's not with the team anymore, but I guess it traumatized me for life, watching him run the bases last year. Twice already this season, we've had guys thrown out on balls that hit the right field wall. Gallo on Saturday at second, and Donaldson tonight at home. DJ absolutely scorched one to center field to lead off the second inning. The way he's looked so far, I don't want to see him on the bench every couple of days. Yankees need to figure out that situation. Hicks hit one to the sticks, if the sticks were in the first row. That made it 2-0. That broke a scoreless streak for the Yankees of 15 innings.
Excellent.
Donaldson made a fantastic pick on a short hop in the top of the third. He made an error later in the game, but that was a great pick. And Cortes continued to deal. He worked around a single in the top of the fourth. I was thinking at that point, Cortes was not a fluke. He figured it out. Kid knows how to pitch. Torres picked up another hit in the bottom of the fourth. He's already gotten off to a better start this April than he had in last April. I'm honestly not worried about the power. The power will come if he continues to take a solid approach. He's using the whole field. He's hitting line drive. Seems like the swing is a lot more level. You don't see him falling off as much after every swing. You don't see him hitting as many pop-ups. You know, he's putting the ball in play. He ripped one down the line. Good night for Gleyber Torres. Blue Jays catcher tried to pick him off at first base, and he did the old Rube Baker and chucked it into right field. DJ scored to make it 3-0 Yankees at that point. More of that, hopefully, coming up. Yankees need to keep jumping out in front, get tired of playing from behind. I think tonight was the first time that they'd taken the opening lead this season. Technically, Derek takes an L on a technicality because I called for Nestor to beat the Jays, and he doesn't factor into the decision. But since we're giving him the belt, I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge as to whether or not that's an L for Derek. Clay Holmes had the sinker going tonight. 1 2/3 perfect innings with 2 strikeouts. Hard to believe he couldn't throw strikes in Pittsburgh. 23 pitches tonight, 15 strikes. Miguel Castro also throwing a 99-mile-an-hour sinker. The Yankees just have some straight-up filthiness coming out of the pen. Absolutely filthy stuff coming out of the pen. Gleyber Torres led off the 7th with a double, his second hit of the night, but he got stranded in scoring position. What else is new? Seems like that happens often around these parts. Another tough night at the plate for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. IKF now batting .071 on the season. Oswald Peraza hitting .278 in AAA. Volpe at .200 in AA. Loaizaga in for the 8th inning, got 2 quick outs, and then gave up 2 bloop singles, just kind of soft part of the bat, can't do anything about it. But then he gets Vladimir Guerrero to ground out to short to end the threat. I'll say this about Kiner-Falefa. He definitely charges the ball on defense very well. Better so than any of the recent shortstops we've had, save for maybe the first year of Didi Gregorius. You know, if it's hit slow, he's hustling in there. They call him Hawaiian Hustle for a reason. Donaldson made a throwing error tonight, but mostly the infield defense looks good. Even Gleyber playing well at second base, that could be one reason he's hitting better. He's not taking it out into the field. He's not taking his errors in the field up to the plate. Bottom 8, really tough at bat for Josh Donaldson. Draws a walk. I'm stumbling over my words tonight. Judge doubles down the line to put 2 men in scoring position with nobody out. Rizzo fouled the ball off a little Tony to add a little insult to injury. And then he struck out. Stanton picked him up, though. He ripped a line drive sacrifice fly to score Donaldson and make it 4-0. 116 miles an hour off the bat from Giancarlo Stanton. Seems like every night he does the same thing, 115 plus.
What, is there an echo in here?
Chapman was throwing 102 in the 9th with a wicked splitter. Pure filth from the Cuban Missile tonight. Yankees hang on to win. Great play by DJ LeMahieu to end it. Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Eric C. says IKF will come through eventually. 100% agree.
Yes, I agree.
I think, you know, he might be one of those guys who's just adjusting to New York. He's a lifelong Yankees fan. He's a kid who plays with a lot of energy. I'm confident he'll come through. He'll figure it out. He did make some adjustments to his swing. And obviously this will be a good test for the Yankees' new hitting coach, Dylan Lawson. See what you can get out of IKF. Big Boy says, when would you call up Peraza in place for IKF? Assuming that this trend continues where Peraza's playing well and IKF is playing poorly, I mean, you got to take a look at things in maybe late May, around Memorial Day. That's when you start to really take a look at what you have as a team. You know, typically it's Memorial Day. This year it might be a little bit later because the season was delayed. But Elijah says, bro, can you give Nestor the belt already? He was already up on the screen, but we're going to go ahead and play the sound.
Let's go. Belt winner.
Somebody said, and I missed it, give Castro some credit. I gave Castro some credit. He was absolutely filthy. It looks like it hurts when he throws, though. He slings it. And every time I've slung a ball like that in my life, it takes a lot out of my arm. But you create a lot of movement on the baseball. I don't have a baseball here that I can show you, but when you get it at that angle, you can create that that movement kind of like from 11 to 4 o'clock on a clock. And it's just a really hard down and in movement at, to a righty at 98, 99 miles an hour. Sam Guzman says, will Cole come through tomorrow? I guess we will find out. Douglas Rouse says, IKF's defense has been as good as advertised. We knew he wasn't much of a hitter when we acquired him. 100% agree.
Yes,
we're going to play
I
the first
agree.
voicemail of the night. This is from Herbie.
Hey, Derek, this is Herbie calling all the way from Brooklyn. A huge fan of yours. Question for you. With the Yankees playing 10 straight games, do you think by any chance Aaron Boone goes with a six-man rotation? Maybe we see Lewis Gill or maybe Clark Schmidt starts? Or you think they're going to roll out with the five-man and, just hold on to the bullpen in case they may need like an extra long relief guy?
That's a great question, Herbie. So the way I'm looking at it is the season is much more condensed this year. You have less off days because of the delayed start. You're going to have more double headers. The Yankees are going to need more than the current 5 starters that they have. Even if everybody stays healthy, which they won't, they never do, you're going to need to mix in a 6th starter at times. I could see the Yankees going through the rotation, maybe 2 or 3 times with a 6th starter, but arranging it in such a way that Garrett Cole stays on his regular rotation, because we know that he's very anal about his preparation, about, he's like Mussina. He doesn't like things to be interrupted. He likes to pitch in the same rhythm, same 4 days rest every time. So great call for Herbie. Let's go ahead and give Herbie a small round of applause. Just a reminder, this voicemail business is new. You can call in throughout the day, and I'll check the voicemail occasionally, and then before the game, up till about the 7th or 8th inning, I'll throw up some voicemails here for you guys. We got one on Aaron Judge.
Hey, Derek. My name is Dominique. First and foremost, thank you for doing this. Glad that, you're able to set this up and have us voice our opinions. I would like to see Aaron Judge moved as soon as possible. We know his injury history. I say move him, get him out of here as soon as possible. Let's get some top prospects back in return, maybe some guys that can contribute right now. But I would say move him as soon as possible. Thanks. All right.
I'm seeing this more and more. More and more people want to trade Aaron Judge. Look, and it's not out of the question that it happens. I don't think the Yankees are going to do it. I still think he's their best player. I still think he comes back. He's a unicorn in terms of just his size and skill set right now. Unbelievable arm, unbelievable defense. How many other basically 6'7" center fielders are there? And everything with the exit velocity, drawing walks, he's cut down on his strikeouts. He's legit, and the Yankees would be, they would benefit from having him on the team for a long time. But that being said, if he's unwilling to negotiate at a reasonable rate, and $230 million is a reasonable amount for Aaron Judge, given the injury history, given the age. $230 million is tough to walk away from. But if he did walk away from that and decides that he wants to test the market, and the Yankees are out of it in July, he could be a guy that you flip and you get 3 or 4 prospects for, good ones, and rebuild the farm. Think about Mookie Betts with the Boston Red Sox. Mookie Betts took them to a World Series. Did we really think that the Red Sox were ever going to deal Mookie Betts? And yet, they did. Mark Peterson, $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Mr. Peterson. Christian says, hope to see you at Saturday's game in Baltimore. I'll be there too. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be fun to catch up.
Yes, I agree.
Let's see. Michael Rubio says, don't trade Judge. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You're gonna see this swirling. You're going to see videos from all these channels that say, should the Yankees trade Judge? Should they not trade Judge? I'm going to go on record right now and say that we should re-sign him because, as Veritas Invicta says, he is our only homegrown star. Got another voicemail here.
Hey, Derek. How's it going? My name is Nick. I'm calling in today about Zach Britton. I just read an article stating that he could be potentially back with the team in August or September. Just wondering what your thoughts were on that, and also wondering if you think he could be a potential asset down in October. Thank you. Have a great day.
Well, good to hear from you. Zach Britton just had Tommy John surgery last year. While it's conceivable that he could return in August or September, a year out, what would we really expect from him coming back off of Tommy John? I mean, we saw Jordan Montgomery briefly in September coming back off of Tommy John from a year from the previous April. So like a season and a half almost. As a relief pitcher, you don't have to pitch as much as a starting pitcher, so you don't have to be as stretched out. I can see the Yankees using him, but I don't see him being a big factor. I think it's going to be tough for him to gain his command coming back from Tommy John. Shane Johnson says, Derek's channel /Nasty Nestor /Yankees pen tonight. Fire. Appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate that.
More of that, please.
Mark Stenroos has a good point. He says, Judge isn't going anywhere. The Yankees can't afford the money they'd lose in jersey sales. It's not just jersey sales. I mean, he puts fannies in the seats. You know how many people are there to see Aaron Judge? I mean, he really is the face of the Yankees. You've got to re-sign him. And he knows that, which is why he's holding out. I don't think he's going to get 9 years at $36 million. I just don't. Frankie Baseball says, I fear Judge contract talks will overshadow this year. We need more performances like tonight to avoid that.
Hey, kids!
Matt Shuey says, Judge probably wants to play on the West Coast. I don't know, man. I mean, there's some good teams out in the West Coast, and that's where he's from. But, I mean, there's nothing like playing for the Yankees. You don't want to be that homegrown star who came up with the Yankees and didn't win. Cano won, Phil Hughes won, Jabba won, Jeter won a bunch, Mariano obviously won. The best homegrown stars have to at least win one championship with the Yankees. If Judge left without winning a championship, he would lose a lot of credibility in New York and around the game, I think. Jack Wells says, Hicks would be so much better if he was a permanent righty, much simpler swing. I think that I want to see him lefty. I mean, he still has good at bats left-handed, and, he's a threat in Yankee Stadium. We saw against Verlander, he hit that 3-run home run in the playoffs. So I don't want him to give up switch hitting. I do agree with you that his swing is better from the right side. It's definitely a lot more violent from the left side. Temple Jeet says, let's zoom out, folks. That's always a good thing to do. We are just 3% into the season. Let's talk W tonight, not just Judge. Frankie says, with all the Simpson sounds, how do I not have a Sideshow Bob sound? At least I'm stepping on a rake. I just love the Simpsons, and I look for any opportunity I can to add Simpson sounds to my mix. Marcus Killigrew says Mattingly didn't win. I'm not going to blame Mattingly, though, because injuries kind of ended his career. He left at, I think it was 33 years old in 95 due to injuries. If he had stuck around, he would have won some championships. But, that's one of the things that's held against Mattingly. He never won. He went all that time without a playoff appearance. But the one playoff appearance he was in, at least he played pretty well. Mark with another $2 dono. You can add chat, and I'll read, the chat if you put the, dono button or whatever. I'm not good at the internet. Brother Bulldozer says Family Guy is better. I like Family Guy, but The Simpsons is a classic, and The Family Guy, in a lot of ways, is kind of a ripoff, if we're being honest. I mean, same, family of 5. They're very similar. Big, oafish, dad. Daniel Lee says, loving the pre and post game chats. Diehard fan on the other side of the world in beautiful New Zealand. Let's hear it for New Zealand. New Zealand. Good eye, mate. Put another shrimp on the barbie. Marcus says, not to blame Mattingly. He was also on some bad teams. I've got to rewatch that Don Mattingly documentary. That was one of the better documentaries that they've put out. And maybe I'm a little biased because he was my favorite player. But he was just such a classy guy. And I'm glad they highlighted his defensive ability. I'm glad they highlighted how clutch he was before he got hurt. And how hard he worked. It was really all the constant batting practice and the torque that he had in his swing that hurt his back. Geo LV says, Ozark or Better Call Saul? That's a great question. You know, I think the acting in both shows is brilliant. The writing is brilliant. I mean, to me, you know, it's 12 of one, half dozen of the other. The thing about Better Call Saul is that it's part of the Breaking Bad universe. And I think the Breaking Bad universe is tremendous. Breaking Bad, to me, is the greatest TV show ever made. Bar none. And Better Call Saul has kind of followed the same template where it began as a, you know, kind of a light comedy, some interesting drama, occasional darkness. And now season 5 was completely dark, and season 6 looks really dark. And there's going to be some overlap. Walt and Jesse from Breaking Bad going to be in season 6 of Better Call Saul. Ozark is fantastic too, though. Jason Bateman can act like, I mean, he can do anything. He's the greatest actor in the game today, in my opinion, especially on TV shows. I don't know if it's technically a TV show. It's a serial show, but streaming. Mark Peterson, another dono. Appreciate that. Nick Yak says, our pitching looks as good or better than Boston or Toronto. Going to have to go ahead and agree on that.
I wholeheartedly agree.
One more voicemail we got here. This on Aaron Hicks.
What's up? I'm Patrick. I've been watching some of the Yankees games recently, and all I have to say is that Aaron Hicks, we need to trade him for a bag of half-eaten Lay's chips. The dude is alive.
I had to cut off some salty language there, but that voicemail came in before Aaron Hicks hit a 2-run game-winning home run tonight. So let's hear it one more time for Aaron Hicks stepping up. I'll be back with a pregame tomorrow. In case you guys missed last night, Saturday I'm going to go to the Orioles-Yankees game in Baltimore, so I will not be doing a live recap. I typically am not going to do most weekends. I play baseball on the weekends on Sundays. You can pretty much count on me being on here most weeknights. If you want to support the channel, please become a member. We're going to start doing more members-only stuff. I'm going to put out a members-only video on Saturday morning. And then Saturday night, hopefully, possibly Sunday, depends on whether or not there's rain in Baltimore and if they actually have the game, I'm going to release a vlog. I'm basically going to record the journey with my buddy as we go up to watch this game. So it should be a ton of fun. Yankees 286, one more time on Aaron Hicks, says, definition of a short porch home run. But you know what? I'll take it.
More of that, please.
I'm out of here. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time. One more time from Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.